Good evening. The Jays are the hottest ticket in town as we head into the holiday-long weekend.
And we didn't have to look far to find people trying to score a pair of tickets to the American League Championship Series that begins on Sunday. CTV's Raheem Ladani's been talking to fans as the excitement builds and the sticker shock from ticket prices sinks in. Raheem.
Hey, Nathan and Michelle, good evening. Yes, there's certainly a sticker shock, but let's start with the Jays players themselves. They're back on the field today. I saw them taking batting practice, and they certainly look like a relaxed group. In fact, some of their children were even playing along the baselines. Everybody wants to be part of this postseason run. In fact, just take a look over my shoulder right now. We have some budding future Jays superstars hanging out. They're playing catch, hitting the ball around, and this is what this postseason run is all about. Enjoying the vibe that the Blue Jays are presenting because they truly are connecting this entire city. Now, a lot of fans are trying to connect with the team by being in their seats for Game 1 and 2 of the ALCS. However, that is proving to be quite difficult when it comes to the ticket prices. It seems like everyone is trying to get their hands on tickets for the Blue Jays American League Championship Series.
We paid like $3 grand for our tickets.
300 US.
US per person.
Yeah.
After the Jays defeated the Yankees in 4 games, those who had tickets for Game 5 in Toronto were refunded. But when they went to buy the same tickets for this upcoming playoff round,
prices went up, yeah, like by like $200. Yeah, it was crazy.
The Jays will face either the Seattle Mariners or Detroit Tigers in the ALCS. And there's one reason why many are hoping it's the team across the Ambassador Bridge.
If Detroit wins tonight, we might go down to Detroit and support them away.
I was looking, it's like $200 cheaper, so it's more affordable that way, right?
Man, I want it all. Want it all.
Wherever fans are watching the games from, this song will be pumping them up.
Like the knife in and I'm locked in, it's game time.
Titled I Want It All. This is a unique collaboration between Toronto rapper Sorry and the legendary Randy Bachman on guitar.
We're bouncing back ideas. He loves the song. He's sending me riffs. I'm sending him hooks. I'm sending him verses. Because the main point of this song is that we want to make it not only memorable, but anthemic.
As this unofficial anthem gains popularity, people are hoping the Jays can provide another iconic Canadian moment.
I vividly remember jumping off my couch when Joe Carter hit that game-winning home run back in the 90s. So I'm just hoping that we get to re-experience all that again. It would be great for the next generation to see and to experience nationwide.
But first, they have to win the ALCS, with Game 1 going Sunday night. Now, after Game 1 on Sunday night, Game 2 will go on Thanksgiving Monday. But the Toronto Blue Jays aren't the only team in town that day. In fact, the Toronto Maple Leafs are scheduled to be playing as well, a home game against the Detroit Red Wings. Well, the Maple Leafs just announced that they don't want any conflict between fans having to choose between watching the Jays or the Leafs. So the Leafs game is being changed to 2 p.m. instead of 4 p.m. So it's going to be a 2 o'clock start on Thanksgiving Monday for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And MLSE says that if you are going to the Leaf game, you don't have to leave right after. In fact, they're going to show the Jays game on the Jumbotron. Reporting live, I'm Raheem Ladani. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Raheem. And as the Jays fly deeper into the postseason, our CTV News chopper got a bird's eye view of a special site at the Cumberland parking garage in Yorkville, a parking lot-sized painting of a Blue Jay. It was painted for the Yorkville Murals Festival in August before the playoff run became a reality. Also tucked into an alleyway off Spadina, south of Adelaide, there's the Bautista Bat Flip mural from a playoff run gone by. And if you've heard of a playoff tribute that you would like to highlight during this exciting time, take a pic, tag CTV Toronto on social media, or send it to torontonews@bellmedia.ca.
And we have more news in a moment, but first, a look at the forecast. Here's a live shot. Cool conditions into the evening and tomorrow morning. But overall, the long weekend looks good, steady, and seasonal. Comfortable fall weather to look forward to, but there is a chance of rain. Lindsay Morrison is here with a look at the current conditions. Lindsay.
Yeah, Nathan, it's not a perfectly sunny weekend, unfortunately. We are looking at some unsettled weather, and it is a little more likely this weekend compared to last that the Dome will be closed for the Jays game. But you never know. We'll stay tuned for Sunday. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. Showers are on the way thanks to this upper level low. We're starting to get an increase in cloud cover already. It is 16 degrees, though, so it's been a nice kickoff to the weekend. Gusty winds out of the south, gusting close to to 40 kilometers per hour, in fact. But by the overnight hours, we are into those showers. It's a little warmer than it was the last couple of nights. We'll take you through the Thanksgiving long weekend forecast coming up. Michelle, for now, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. We have breaking news in the West End where a pedestrian has been struck by a vehicle and critically injured. This collision occurred on Lansdowne Avenue, south of DuPont. Our Siobhan Morris is on the scene this hour. She joins us live with the latest details. Siobhan.
Well, I just spoke with the duty officer on the scene who says that the woman who was hit here in her 70s remains in a state where she is fighting for her life. This is a crash that happened just before 4 o'clock this afternoon. The neighborhood really rattled by the aftermath. A lot of people said that they didn't see it, the initial crash, but they did see the aftermath and that it's something that will stick with them for a long time. One woman said that she spoke with the driver and said this was a driver, the driver of a service van who was coming off Lappin, heading west and turning onto Lansdowne, making a left-hand turn, and that's when the crash happened. Right now we know that there are the woman's shoes in the crosswalk, a pair of white sneakers, and a large pool of blood. Again, indications of the seriousness of her injuries tonight. Many witnesses here say that paramedics and possibly some members of the public ran in to help, that they were performing CPR on this woman in the roadway for as long as 40 minutes. We do know that she was eventually rushed to hospital where she remains again with life-threatening injuries. We've had no update on her condition beyond to say that she is still in that state, whether surgery was required. We don't know at this point either whether any charges will be laid, whether police have even spoken to the driver at this moment. A traffic reconstruction team has showed up in the last half hour or so to try to map out all the specifics of this collision. They've had a drone up in the air to see this from the air to understand exactly what happened here. Reporting live, I'm Siobhan Morris. Michelle and Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. The mail could be moving again as soon as Tuesday.
We're following up tonight on the plan by the union representing striking postal workers to drop their nationwide strike and shift to rotating work stoppages. CTV's Beth McDonnell has been talking to postal workers and small businesses today. She joins us now live with that. Beth.
Michelle, the job action isn't over yet, but mail and parcels could be arriving at your door by Tuesday. Still, not all of Canada Post customers are ready to use or trust the service.
Do we like the color arrangement?
Yes. For 11 years, Province of Canada owner Julie Brown was a loyal Canada Post customer. She used the service to ship up to 1,500 orders a month for its unbeatable pricing and reach across the country. She even stayed with Canada Post after last year's strike before the holidays. But with so much uncertainty since, she's taking her business elsewhere.
I hate to do it, if I'm being honest. We love our Canada Post, the people we work with. I mean, we have just great people throughout the years. Normally, they're so reliable and so great and can really do the job so well. So it's a shame that we're here again.
Canada Post negotiate! Starting tomorrow, Cup W, the union representing 55,000 employees, says mail and parcels will be moving again, ending its national strike and moving to rotating strikes. That means postal stations, letter carriers, or a processing plant will take turns going on strike. It could be in Toronto one day, somewhere out east, or out west another, which the union says will cause headaches for management.
Community senior groups have been speaking up. Mayors have been speaking up. They want postal services to continue on, the ones they have. But we are postal workers. What we do best is deliver mail, and we're returning to keep this Canadian economy going.
The return to work without a resolution to the labor dispute is thanks not only to the company's steep decline over the past 15 years, but also denial from the union, says this professor who studies the Crown Corporation.
They're finally realizing that their leverage is declined precipitously because millions of Canadians are no longer using the post office.
He says the former Liberal government and management has been in denial too. Just over 2 weeks ago, Ottawa allowed Canada Post to make changes to the business before a deal was reached with the union, which caused workers to walk off the job. While rotating strikes are somewhat of a relief to Brown, she hopes the two sides can get to a good place because small businesses want stability.
This adds so much to our workload when these things happen. And as a small business, there's been so much going on this year that this just pushes us over the edge, especially during the holiday season.
Canada Post says it welcomes employees back and postal service will begin to resume next week. But uncertainty and instability will continue because of the rotating strikes. And as a result, all service guarantees will be suspended. A week ago, Canada Post presented new offers, which included a provision around expected job cuts ahead. The union says it's reviewing those offers and will respond shortly. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. Now to new questions being asked about millions of dollars handed out under a provincial skills development fund.
Ontario's Labour Minister is downplaying reports he was at a wedding and photographed at a Leafs game with those who stood to benefit. CTV's John Woodward reports.
It was a nail-biter overtime game in January 2023, Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Florida Panthers. And then
working wider for Hagee to the net. What a beauty!
Forward William Nylander slips as he celebrates, and right above that, these fans were spotted by a Leafs photographer at their rinkside seats. That's David Piccini, at the time Ontario's Environment Minister. Next to him, Peter Zacharow. Zacharow, in a way, also scored. He's a listed board member of a company called Keel Digital Solutions that trained peer support workers for police officers. That company got at least $2.7 million from the Skills Development Fund the following year when Piccini was overseeing it as Labour Minister. Record show lobbyist Michael Rutherham represented Keel. Rutherham got married in Paris this month, something that came up Wednesday on News Talk 1010.
I'm looking at a headline in the Trillium.ca that was just handed me. Ontario Labour Minister attended lobbyist's wedding after granting his clients millions in training funds.
Look, I mean, I don't control private sector decisions on who hires whom to represent them. But what I can say to you is I don't need a lobbyist to tell me to support first responders.
The province's opposition NDP says that's another insider connection, like those to a casino, a bakery, and bars, in a fund that Ontario's Auditor General found gave around $750 million in grants via political staff, overruling nonpartisan bureaucrats.
Not fair, transparent, or accountable.
A ministry spokesperson told CTV News Minister Piccini is a lifelong sports fan who purchases his own tickets to games. In 2023, he was serving as Minister of the Environment, Conservation and Parks and wasn't responsible for any Skills Development Fund money at the time. They added Minister Piccini traveled to Europe for a long-planned private family trip. While abroad, he attended a wedding. Expenses associated with both were paid by him, and he stayed at a different hotel than where the wedding took place. Saying the minister's company in these seats at this game doesn't mean they're on the same team. John Woodward, CTV News.
Toronto police say they arrested 8 people accused of breaking into an MP's West End office as part of a protest and refusing to leave. A pro-Palestinian activist group had announced plans to gather yesterday at the constituency office of Liberal MP Karim Bardisi near Bloor and Dundas. Police allege about 30 or 40 people forced their way into the common area and a lone staff member inside called 911. They say officers told protesters to leave and 8 were arrested when they refused. The stated goal was to urge Ottawa to take action following Israel's interception of an aid flotilla heading to Gaza with 6 Canadians on board, including local activist Nisquasin Agnew. Bardisi says he raised the matter with Global Affairs Canada and was in touch with Agnew's family, as fellow activists say she's been released from Israeli custody.
York Regional Police were investigating another attempted jewelry store robbery in Vaughan. Police say a driver reversed into a storefront near Weston Road and Highway 7 around 11 this morning. The CTV News shopper was over the scene where a car was still visible in the window of Finch Center Jewelers. The suspects weren't able to get inside or take anything, and no one was hurt. This follows a separate failed robbery attempt at a jewelry store at the same plaza on Tuesday. CTV News has asked police if the same business was targeted in both incidents.
Loved ones gathered today for the funeral of an 11-year-old victim of arson.
The girl named Rosa died in hospital after she was pulled from a fire at her home in Richmond Hill. CTV's John Musselman has the story.
Family, friends, and supporters gathered at the burial site in Aurora today to say goodbye to an 11-year-old girl killed in an arson at a Richmond Hill home last month. Identified by family members as Rosa, the girl was pulled from a burning home on September the 1st. She died in hospital the next day. Her 24-year-old aunt also died in the fire. 3 other family members were injured and they are slowly recovering. A small memorial sits at the base of a tree outside the home on Skywood Drive in Richmond Hill. The home remains fenced off. York Regional Police have not arrested or publicly identified a suspect in this arson. The investigation is ongoing, and police say there are no updates at this time. CTV previously reported that a red gas canister was seen near the home following the fire. Family members say Rosa and her aunt both gave the gift of life through organ donation. Investigators say anyone with information who has not yet spoken to police is urged to come forward. John Musselman, CTV News.
Police believe alcohol was a factor in a crash this morning in the West End involving a car and a TTC bus. The CTV News chopper was over the scene on Royal York Road and Delroy Drive, just north of the Queensway, where the vehicles collided. It happened just after 5:30 this morning. Police tell us the driver of the car, a man in his 20s, was arrested for impaired driving. No word on whether anyone was hurt.
And 2 firefighters were hurt overnight after a tractor trailer crashed into their truck on the 401. This happened around 2:30 a.m. in the westbound lanes at Newtonville Road west of Port Hope. The fire truck was blocking a live lane of traffic because of an earlier crash. Police say the firefighters' injuries are considered non-life-threatening and charges are pending. As we head into the long weekend, the OPP kicking off a Thanksgiving safety blitz, cracking down on unsafe driving on the province's roads and highways.
This is not just a provincial police campaign. This is actually a part of the Canadian Association Chiefs of Police all across Canada. Anywhere you're going this weekend in the country, you're going to be seeing officers out there looking at those high-risk driving behaviors. We talk about it all the time. Speeding is the #1 killer of the Big Four. We've had 269 people die already this year. 59 of those were because of aggressive driving or speeding. We also have distraction and inattention right there behind it.
The OPP is also reminding people heading up north to be safe around the water, including wearing life jackets when swimming or boating. And if you're making plans for Thanksgiving Monday, a reminder, most grocery stores, pharmacies and malls will be closed that day, as will banks, libraries and government offices. Same goes for all beer stores and LCBO locations.
That being said, some malls will be open for business, including the Eaton Centre and Square One. Several attractions will be open as well, such as the Toronto Zoo, the Art Gallery, the ROM, Ripley's Aquarium, and the CN Tower. On GO Transit, buses and trains will run on a Saturday schedule on Thanksgiving Monday. The TTC will operate on a Sunday schedule. Coming up on CTV News, humbled and grateful. Venezuela's opposition leader reacts to winning this year's Nobel Peace Prize for her efforts to achieve democracy.
The Prime Minister unveiled a trio of small measures today, just weeks before his government's first ever federal budget.
The announcement included some recent campaign pledges and one long overdue Liberal promise. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more on Carney's budget preview.
Today, the Prime Minister took a long-promised step towards ensuring all Canadians are fully covered under this country's social safety net. Starting next year, the Canada Revenue Agency will automatically file taxes for low-income individuals.
This program will pay out hundreds of millions of dollars in benefits in the next few years that would otherwise be left unclaimed.
The Liberals are also making a pilot program that provides food to schools nationwide permanent, and are renewing the Canada Strong Pass, making museums, parks, and train tickets cheaper for a month over the December holidays and again for summer 2026.
Since no one can possibly experience all that Canada has to offer in just a few short months.
The announcement, the start of a political communication strategy.
Today was a preview of some of the things we're going to see in the next federal budget.
There's going to be more good news, trust me.
That was exactly my question.
Trust me.
But not all see it as good news.
They're printing cash to pay for their out-of-control spending.
Today, the government couldn't say why the years-old Liberal promise to make tax filing easier hadn't been acted on sooner, or why it'll take until 2028 to fully implement it.
I mean, we can talk all day about why something didn't happen in 2023 or 24 or 22, what have you, but I know certainly moving forward in this budget, 25, 26, 27, we have ambitious goals.
The Prime Minister said these measures will be considered operational rather than capital expenditures, a new distinction this government intends to make in its budgets. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
An explosion at a Tennessee explosives plant has left 19 people missing. Authorities say there are fatalities. The blast occurred today about 80 kilometers southwest of Nashville. There's no further danger of explosions, and the scene was under control this afternoon. The company processed explosives and ammunitions for the military. The cause of the explosion is not yet known.
In the Middle East, the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has now been in effect for more than 12 hours. Thousands of displaced Palestinians began the journey home in Gaza after the first phase of the peace plan went into effect at noon today, local time. Israeli troops are not leaving the territory, but once they pulled back, Hamas has 72 hours to release the 20 living Israeli hostages it's still holding. Israel will free 250 Palestinian prisoners. Hundreds of trucks per day are also expected to begin surging into Gaza, carrying food and medical aid. U.S. President Donald Trump, who spearheaded the ceasefire deal, will travel to the region on Sunday.
A Venezuelan opposition leader is this year's winner of the Nobel Peace Prize.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado.
Machado is being recognized for her struggle to achieve a democratic transition in the South American country. The Nobel Committee says the former opposition presidential candidate is a key unifying figure in the once deeply divided opposition to President Nicolas Maduro's government. Machado says she's humbled and grateful.
This is a movement. This is a achievement of a whole society. I am just, one person. I certainly do not deserve this.
Machado believes freedom for her country and peace for the region is very close. She was set to run against Maduro in last year's presidential election, but the government disqualified her.
Prime Minister Mark Carney welcomed the head of FIFA to the nation's capital today. Gianni Infantino ensured the Prime Minister will be at the first World Cup match in Toronto next summer.
I brought you a little souvenir. No, it's not a souvenir, actually. It's the ticket. It's your ticket. Because you have, of course, to come for the opening game here.
Infantino gave the PM a special ticket for the June 12th game at BMO Field, featuring our national team against an as-yet undetermined opponent. Canada will host the 13 World Cup matches next summer, 6 in Toronto and 7 in Vancouver. Carney's scheduled to attend a men's international soccer friendly tonight in Montreal. Canada's playing Australia.
Coming up, raising awareness about the physical and financial cost of living with Canada's #1 cause of disability. We preview World Arthritis Day.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, it's a household chore. Most of us have to do the laundry, but is there a chance you're doing it wrong? Consumer Reports has some good advice on how to get your clothes cleaner and save money. I'll have that story just ahead.
Well, I think it's going to be a good weekend to enjoy the fall foliage. Color change is happening more and more around the greater Toronto area. We are now past peak in some parts of the north, but this is going to be a big weekend for many folks, maybe closing up the cottage for the season. And the forecast looks not bad. We'll talk about the possibility of wet weather coming up. And stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
It's a chore in many households that might never seem to end, doing the laundry. And it's not only time-consuming, it can also be expensive.
From thousands of liters of water to your electricity bill and detergent, the cost of laundry can really add up. But there are ways to save money. And who better to tell us about it than Pat Foran with Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Michelle and Nathan. Well, many people think they know exactly what they're doing in the laundry room, but the truth is you could be making mistakes and not even know it. Consumer Reports has some good advice, whether you're a seasoned pro or a rookie around the washing machine. In some households, it may seem as though the loads of laundry will never end, and sorting, washing, and folding clothes takes time and money. But Consumer Reports' Rich Handel says there are easy ways to save.
You really only need a high-performing detergent. And remember, they're super concentrated, so only use about 3 tablespoons or about 1.5 ounces. And you can also use it for pre-treating your stains.
Handel says ditch the fabric softener and dryer sheets.
Fabric softeners can leave a residue on your clothes, can reduce the absorbency of your towels. It can cause buildup in your machine. Dryer sheets can also leave a residue on your clothes and the moisture sensor in your dryer, which can cause it to run longer.
Next, skip the hot water. Nearly 90% of your washer's energy use goes towards heating it. Cold water can also keep colors brighter and prevent shrinking. When it's time to dry, use your dryer's automatic cycle setting. To save even more, go old school. Use a clothesline or hang dry. Despite what some TikTok videos say, never use vinegar, liquid soap, and dish detergent. Vinegar can damage the rubber seals and hoses in some washing machines, and dish soap will create a sudsy mess. And always separate your lights from darks.
You always wash your whites together, but if you have a white item that's stained, do that separately, pre-clean it.
And keep heavy fabrics separate from lightweight fabrics. You don't want your jeans beating up your delicates. And pre-treat stains.
Whenever you're dealing with a stain, pre-treat it. Put it in the wash. Check it when it comes out of the wash. Make sure you removed all of the stain, because if you put it in the dryer, it will set that stain, making it very difficult to remove.
While laundry may always be with us, the sticker shock on your utility bills doesn't have to be, and following these steps can make you a pro in the laundry room. And always clean out your dryer's lint trap. Cleaning the lint filter every time you use it can help your clothes dry faster, which can lower your energy bills. A lint buildup can also be a fire hazard. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
It is Friday. We are heading into the Thanksgiving long weekend, and the forecast, not too bad for a Friday night, you know, where it's October weather. And, ooh, what's that? Is that me? Did my hair make that sound? Maybe. Apologies for the audio at home.
Crackling. But yes, the
no
good
thunderstorms.
news is we do have Thanksgiving to look forward to, and it's just like we call this typical fall weather.
Rain, shine, snow, cold. No snow. We don't have to worry about that. Warm, cold. We would enjoy Thanksgiving regardless. And this weekend does offer something a little different compared to many of the weekends we've had so far this fall. Most of them have been filled with sunshine and warm temperatures. We're still going to be above seasonal, but we've got the possibility of unsettled wet weather, especially for tomorrow. First, let's talk about today. It was a beautiful way to kick off the long weekend. Our CTV News chopper, spotted some of the color change that's happening around the GTA. I encourage you to get outside and soak this up before it's gone, because in a season like this, where the color change was expected to be a little bit muted, we had a hot, dry summer, some of those leaves are going to fall off quite quickly. So let's savor it while we have it. And hopefully you had an opportunity to savor the sunshine today too, because look what's coming. We've got wet weather already across many different parts of southern Ontario, inching ever closer to the GTA. We've seen an increase in cloud cover, and now this upper low, as it spins and sinks further south, is going to bring us on and off showers into the day tomorrow. But it's not the only low of concern. This is a nor'easter that's going to make its way up the U.S. coast as we progress into this weekend. Not going to have a direct impact on us necessarily, but it might. If that low tracks a little further to the north or to the west, it could impact our Thanksgiving Monday. But first, here's later tonight. So there's 10 p.m. a round of showers into your Saturday morning. Looks like some on and off wet weather. The areas that do get clipped by this could get some rain, steady at times, and then it's going to move out. Look at the dry periods expected in many areas too. So not a washout of a day into Saturday. Late afternoon and evening, we'll even get some clearing, hopefully some sun. And then Sunday, chance of a leftover shower, but overall it's looking pretty dry and hopefully a mix of sun and cloud kind of day. Then Monday looks good at this point. As mentioned, maybe a bit of spillover from this area of low pressure. Looks like it's going to maybe clip the Kingston area. We'll simply watch for the chance of a shower, but otherwise it's a mix of sun and cloud kind of day as well. Let's bring you up to speed on the tropics. Here's what's left of Tropical Storm Jerry. It is going to veer out to sea, and then we'll take you from the Atlantic to the Pacific. This is Tropical Storm Raymond, which if you have travel plans to Mexico's Baja Peninsula, this will be an impactful storm into the weekend too. Back closer to home, let's talk temperatures. 16 degrees right now in the city of Toronto, dropping to a low near 11 overnight tonight. That is warmer than average. It's certainly warmer than the last 2 nights we've had. Tomorrow, seasonal temperature 15 for the high. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. So we remain at or above seasonal right through the long weekend. Again, at this point, your Sunday and your Monday are looking pretty decent, and so too is much of next week. Looks like we'll cool down a little bit as we make our way into Wednesday. That's the forecast for now. Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Also tonight, an honest and revealing look back at the life of a beloved Canadian comedian. The documentary John Candy, I Like Me, has been released. Details after the break.
A new survey offers an estimate of the economic impact of arthritis on the Canadian economy.
It's tallied in the billions, but only 4% of those surveyed know arthritis is the leading cause of disability. We get more from our health reporter, Pauline Chan.
A new report shows arthritis is the #1 cause of disability in Canada, with a cost of $33 billion each year in healthcare and lost productivity.
I was diagnosed with arthritis shortly after the birth of my first daughter. I was about 32 years old.
Diana Gazdar is among the 85% of patients whose ability to work is affected by her rheumatoid arthritis. 65% say their workplace does not provide any support, but Diana is among the lucky 24% who do get accommodations. She has an adjustable desk, and when she has severe flare-ups, about 2 or 3 times a year, she's able to work from home or just take time to recover.
That feeling of fatigue, though, is the one that I think is the hardest for me. Those are days where I just can't work for a couple days.
It's so misunderstood, arthritis. It's viewed as an older person's disease. It's viewed as just wear and tear, inevitable. And that is not true. It's a really complex disease. There's over 100 types.
Some 6 million Canadians suffer from arthritis, with osteoarthritis affecting 4 million.
Gout is very well known, but probably people don't realize that it's a form of arthritis. There are Raynaud's disease is where the circulation, toes and fingers. Ankylosing spondylitis is another one where people have back pain. That can take a decade before they even get a diagnosis.
And healthcare is a huge cost.
99% of knee replacements are due to arthritis. Most hip replacements are due to arthritis.
That means surgery, hospitalizations, rehab, and expensive drugs, especially for the autoimmune forms of arthritis. Their message for World Arthritis Day on October 12th?
It's not just about productivity loss, it's just quality of life for most people.
Let's think about arthritis as a driver for productivity, and let's help workers stay working.
Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A big announcement from the Las Vegas Sphere today as the venue confirms the latest high-profile band taking the stage there. After teasing the reveal on social media, the Sphere confirmed No Doubt is planning a reunion in Vegas for 6 shows next May. This will be the first time a band led by a woman, Gwen Stefani, will take over the venue. Tickets go on sale next week.
After the success of the first Minecraft movie, Warner Brothers says a sequel is on the way.
Anything you can dream about, you can create.
A Minecraft movie debuted back in the spring and brought in more than $957 million U.S. across the globe. That was enough to make it the 3rd highest grossing film of 2025 and the 2nd highest earning video game adaptation film. Few details have been released on the follow-up, but it's set for release July 2027.
A documentary celebrating the life of beloved Canadian comedian and actor John Candy is out.
Who are you? I'm a Mog. Half man, half dog.
Gus Polinski, polka king of the Midwest.
Del Griffith, director of sales, shower curtain ring division.
This is
John Candy, I Like Me, premiered at TIFF last month and drops today on Amazon Prime Video. The documentary traces the life and death of the SCTV star, whose big screen hits in the 80s and early 90s include Stripes, Splash, and Uncle Buck. It includes interviews with Bill Murray, Catherine O'Hara, Tom Hanks, Martin Short, Macaulay Culkin, and Eugene Levy, as well as input from Candy's own family.
I would like you to meet Ares, the ultimate soldier.
Meanwhile, the third entry in the Tron franchise is expected to dominate the overall weekend box office. The Hollywood Reporter says Tron Ares is on track to debut with more than $40 million U.S. in sales. It'll be facing off against crime comedy film Roofman, which is expected to bring in $8 to $10 million, as well as weekend 2 of previous #1 film One Battle After Another.
After the break, the keg is tapped in Kitchener, the polka music blaring. Yes, the good times are flowing at Canada's biggest Oktoberfest. We stop by the festivities.
We have breaking news with an update from police on a serious collision in the West End. A female pedestrian who was struck by a vehicle at Lansdowne and Lappin Avenue this afternoon has died. The driver remained at the scene. The area has been closed while officers conduct their investigation.
We paid like $3,000 for our ticket.
300 US.
US per person?
Yeah.
Only secondary market tickets are now available as the Jays get set for Sunday's first home game of the American League Championship Series, and it is not a cheap ticket. Which team Toronto plays will be determined tonight when Detroit and Seattle square off in the deciding game of their series.
They're finally realizing that their leverage is declined precipitously because millions of Canadians are no longer using the post office.
Mail delivery set to resume on a limited basis. Starting tomorrow morning, Canada Post employees will transition from a countrywide strike to rotating stoppages. The union says local branches will be informed when it's their turn to rotate out of service. The Crown Corporation says it's waiting to hear back on its latest offer.
This program will pay out hundreds of millions of dollars in benefits in the next few years that would otherwise be left unclaimed.
Next month's federal budget will include an expansion of automatic tax filing program for low-income Canadians, and the National School Food Program will soon be permanent. There will also be a relaunch of the Canada Strong Pass for the holiday season and next summer.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos, or video breaking news, let us know.
Global markets are on edge amid signs of mounting trade tensions between Washington and Beijing. Here's BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez with tonight's business headlines.
Markets took a steep U-turn this morning after Donald Trump posted online about China. The post reignited fears of the trade war getting worse. Trump threatened to increase tariffs on China because Beijing is again tightening exports of critical minerals, which are crucial to both technology and defense firms. The North American market sank, with the tech-heavy Nasdaq losing more than 800 points. The Canadian economy gained 60,000 jobs in September, a far cry from the 5,000 anticipated. There was hiring in manufacturing and healthcare. The retail sector lost jobs. With more people looking for work, the unemployment rate stayed at 7.1%. Linamar will pay $300 million to buy the North American assets of Aludyne. Linamar is based in Ontario and makes vehicle parts. Aludyne is also an auto supplier. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar down to 71.43. West Texas Intermediate crude down more than $2.50 to 58.48. Western Canadian Select is down as well, over $1 to 50.36. And the TSX sank today, losing 419 points and dropping under 30,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
This was the scene in Windsor as steelworkers and supporters gathered to protest work on a new overpass. The work at one of the city's busiest intersections is being done with foreign steel. Demonstrators say that's a symbol of how Canada's steel industry is losing ground and losing jobs amid trade tensions. They're calling for Ottawa to step up retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. and to require Canadian steel be used in publicly funded projects.
Shares in Levi Strauss & Co. were down more than 12% today as the company warned of a tariff-related hit to its fourth quarter margins. The denim maker sources most of its products from South Asia, specifically countries that are facing steep U.S. import taxes at the moment. Levi's said it has secured about 70% of its holiday inventory already and raised prices as it tries to soften the impact of tariffs in the coming months.
The province says it won't need as much land as previously expected to build a key piece of electricity infrastructure alongside the future Highway 413. The route is set to stretch 52 kilometers between York and Halton regions and will run alongside new electricity transmission lines. Officials say the lines are needed to meet surging power needs across the northern GTA. Today, the Ministry of Energy and Mines proposed smaller boundaries for the transmission corridor. The yellow area in the map shows 40% of the land held for the new infrastructure can be released. Advocates have criticized the environmental impact of Highway 413, one of the Premier's key campaign promises. Also today, construction got underway on a new transit hub in Midtown Toronto. Caledonia GO Station will connect to the Barrie Line at Caledonia and Eglinton Avenue West, where it will also connect with the Eglinton Crosstown. The province says the station is expected to be a major transfer point between different transit services and will allow for faster connections across the GTA. Oktoberfest celebrations officially kicked off today in Kitchener-Waterloo. Stephen Page of the Bare Naked Ladies helped tap the first keg outside of Kitchener City Hall. The area has been transformed into Willkommen Platz, or Welcome Place, for the festival, which is the largest of its kind outside Germany. If you're planning to attend tomorrow, GO Transit is running extra service on the Kitchener line to help riders get to the festivities. Kitchener-Waterloo Oktoberfest is now in its 57th year, and it runs through October 18th.
Cheers. Cranberries are a staple for many over the Thanksgiving weekend.
For one Eastern Ontario farmer, this year's harvest is bittersweet. CTV's Dave Charbonneau has the story.
Usually one bag will do a 12-pound turkey.
That's exactly what
Willa Langlois loves picking up fresh cranberries for the holidays.
Cranberries are awesome at Thanksgiving.
And for her, at $4.25 a pound, supporting a local farm makes it even sweeter.
Because it's local, yes, and want to support local, you know.
Those cranberries are harvested from Upper Canada Cranberries, a small farm tucked away in Greeley.
And we have about 14, 15 acres of cranberries.
Owner Lyle Slater has been harvesting cranberries here for 25 years.
Then we bale them out with the excavator and put them in the green bin that's there.
Just last week, this empty field looked like this. Hundreds of thousands of floating berries being scooped up to be sorted and bagged.
This year about 80,000 pounds, and it's about a half crop.
This is our second day working on them.
As the berries drop onto a conveyor belt, workers sort through the bright red fruit.
So ones that are going to come out, if they're white or if they're green, they're not ready, or if they're old and they look more like raisins, they're no good either.
Once the spoiled or unripe berries are removed, what's left is the best of the bunch.
So these, you're going to see they're round and they're firm and they're red, and that's what you want. You want the color, the firmness, and a decent size, hopefully, as well.
Dozens of bags of berries are sold here every day leading up to the holidays. But for owner Lyle Slater,
I built this machine.
After years of growing and harvesting, this Thanksgiving season marks the end of an era.
Oh, see, there's one there that we missed right there. This is the last year. I'm retiring this year. I'm going to turn 77. This is the last year I'm going to harvest, and the farm will be for sale.
A bittersweet ending for a farm that's helped bring local flavor to the Thanksgiving table for more than 2 decades. Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Just ahead, taking a big bite out of the long weekend, sharks of all shapes and sizes aimed at reeling you into the ROM. A A new exhibit is coming to the ROM, offering a deep dive on sharks.
It looks at how sharks have captured people's imagination while also examining the latest research on the ancient aquatic creatures. CTV's Jessica Smith paid a visit.
Hammerhead, white shark, whale shark, megalodon
are just a few of the shark species in a new exhibit at the Royal Ontario Museum.
Just how amazing and diverse sharks are. I mean, this is a 340 million-year-old lineage. Beyond just sharks, there are skates and rays, and then there are chimeras.
Sharks invites the public in to learn all about the different varieties of shark species, their connection to Canadian waters, and the conservation of their environment.
I think that everybody should know more about sharks to know how to save them from extinction.
They're controlling resources in the ocean that help protect coral reefs, even protect the nutrient balance in the ocean that provides the oxygen we breathe.
With interactive stations, panoramic cinematic views, and life-size replicas, there's something for everyone to enjoy.
We're from the shark era. I mean, how do you figure with Jaws and everything? You got to come see the shark.
We've got some quiz games in the exhibition, so you can go through and test your knowledge of sharks. And then there's a hunt like a hammerhead interactive, so it's kind of like a video game where just with your hands you can manipulate the movement of a hammerhead shark.
The Sharks exhibit opens to the public, and this weekend it will be here at the ROM all the way through until March 2026. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
Well, the good thing this long weekend, there are a few things that are open, things to do.
It's a big city, right? There's always so much to do, and the weather will cooperate at times.
Yeah, if you're looking to move indoors, though, this weekend, there's the possibility of wet weather. Hey, maybe tomorrow is the day for that. Here's one more look at what you can expect temperature-wise. It's going to be a seasonal day, even though we have that chance of showers, even the slight risk of a thunderstorm. Your Thanksgiving long weekend forecast looks like this. Certainly not bad into Sunday or Monday. A reminder that, we do have this round of wet weather that could impact us tomorrow, but Sunday and Monday do look drier. There's the rest of the 7-day forecast. Have a great weekend, everyone. Michelle and Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. CTV National News is coming your way at 11, followed by Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here, thanks for watching and have a wonderful long weekend.
Good cat.